A lot of controversy last year, Dick, with Wesbank modified racing, but it all seems to have come right this year.
Yes, Roger, we've sorted it out. We consulted a lot with the manufacturers, we listened to them, and we've sorted out some rules that not only make them happy now, but work very, very well. Very close racing.
And the competition, of course, is a different winner at every race meeting.
We've had a different winner at every race meeting this year. And I think we'll have some different ones today, but who knows what the day holds with such close lap times.
Right, so we've got the major manufacturers up in Class A, but Class B seems to have come to light now with the arrival of the BMWs.
Yeah, Class B has always been somewhat of a privateer category, but we've got the BMWs come in under a controversial banner, but we've sorted the weights out, and they're all very, very close. Jan Kutsia, last year's champion, is right in there. He's got pole position in Class B today, and the others are close to him, so it should be one big race.
And we were talking there to Dick Sorensen, the chairman of the Wesbank Modified Saloon Car Association. And very pleasing to the sponsors of the day, Bosel and Audi, was the fact that their two motor cars, Chris Aberdeen in the Bosel Audi and Terry Moss in the Minolta Audi, were 1 and 2 on the starting grid, just ahead of the Sasol Ford Safa of Sorrel van der Merwe. Then came Ben Morgenrud out in the new Mazda Motorsport colours, and Willie Hepburn out in the thundering V8 Sabat Open. And here we are in with Terry Moss. You're in with a Works Audi, turbocharged four-wheel drive with a top speed of approaching 300 kilometers an hour. And if you think it resembles an aircraft fighter cockpit, it's because a lot of those instruments are in fact made by Messerschmitt Aircraft Company. And this is a rolling start. You can see ahead the Audi 500 Turbo, being driven by the president of South African Motorsport Control, Dave Clapham, in an effort to slow these cars down before they get underway in this 15-lap battle. He wants a nice clean start, and he was driving the pace car. But the man who decides the speed as you go across the line is in fact Chris Aberdeen in the Bosel Audi as we come up the Champion Hill to the Bosel corner. We're in with Sorrel van der Merwe in the Sasol Ford. Ahead of him he's got Terry Moss, and on the right hand side is Chris Aberdeen. There's a lot of horsepower. He's going to be put down onto the road of Zwartkops as soon as they're given the green flag for the start of this race. You can see the pace car just going around the Sabat corner between those two mighty machines, the popping, squeaking Audi turbos with a tremendous turn of speed. Chris Aberdeen starting to warm things up. He wants to be at maximum as he crosses the start-finish line. And here he comes now. He won down at Welkom. Sorrel van der Merwe on the right-hand side of the road and inside of the corners. They're going to the first corner. We're in with him now as he goes right up onto Aberdeen's tail as they're going to Conti corner. Hard braking. Now back with Jan Kutsi. He's leading Class B. Ahead of him, the fifth of the Class A cars. That's Willie Hepburn in the Sabat Open. And now you're going to see the difference between an A-class car up to 5.8 litre and a 3.8 litre Class B cars. These others just tear away down that long straight, doing speeds of up to 230, 240 kilometers an hour. As they hit the brakes down to the citizen sweep, it's Aberdeen in front. Sorrel van der Merwe established himself in second position. He's been worried there by Aberdeen. Then comes the Autofit Mazda 323 of Ben Morgenrud, the Opel of Willie Hepburn. Class B, he's being led there by the Gearmax Skyline of Johan Kutsi, the champion, the Wesbank champion. Has won it 3 times, and he's out to show him that this Japanese 6-cylinder car can take on the might of the European cars, the BMW 535s. And we're back in again with Terry Moss in the Minolta out as he trails Sorrel van der Merwe into Conti corner. Sorrel's got the 2-wheel drive. Terry Moss has got 4-wheel drive. Sorrel goes to the inside to protect his line as he goes down that long straight. He'll need to be on the inside as he goes down the citizen sweep. There's fumes being created there by oil dropping onto the turbocharger. It's starting to get into the cockpit of this Audi of Terry Moss as they go through this corner more than 200 kilometers an hour. Popping and squeaking their way up as the wastegates of these turbos open and close. 3 turbocharged cars in the front. A triple rotor Mazda in 4th position. A V8, a 5.7 litre V8 Chev motor in the Opel lying in 5th position at the moment, and there's nothing between these cars. A lot of the people who are expecting Chris Aberdeen to really give into the pressure of Sorrel van der Merwe, but he's staying in the front there, there's no doubt about it. And here we are back with Jan Kutsi and the Gearmax Skyline, leading Class B. On his tail he's got Dion Jabir on the BMW. Larry Wilford just behind him. He comes out of Conti. Oh, and he's missed a gear change. Instead of going to 3rd, he's gone into 5th gear, and that's going to give Dion Jabir a chance to make his way past. And there he is, he nearly clips his mirror off the motor cars he comes through, and that's a real setback for Johan Kutsi. This is going to develop into a real dogfight. Here it is from the outside. Look how close Jabir is as he moves takes that mirror out, as you see. And now we are going to be in for a rare fight. Johan Coetzee is a Springbok, a stock car racer. He's toured overseas, and he can bring some of this sort of racing to tar racing anytime they like to mix it with him. Larry Wolford is in third spot. Tony Vion is battling there with suspension problems, and Johan Coetzee has been pushed to the outside by Dion Jabeur. Already this dogfight is starting to really get rough, and Coetzee is not going to take this line down. There he goes through Bosel Corner. You're in the car with him. He actually gave Dion Jabeur a nudge there as they come down to Sabre Corner. Jabeur's on the inside. Coetzee tries to take his part of the road, and he gets bumped off into the outfield, and there goes Jabeur. There goes Larry Wolford and Tony Viona, and Gary Dunkley goes past in the Porsche, and Coetzee has really got a big job on his hands, not only to pass these cars ahead of him, but to get ahead and win this class. Takes a straight line there through Continental Corner, really giving this Gearmax Skyline a big workout. And there's that whole pack coming down there. Coetzee is not in sight yet. It's Jabeur in front. This Class B battle is one of the sights to see in Wesbank modified racing at the moment. Jabeur, Wolford, Tony Vion is now disposed of. Gary Dunkley is right behind him there. 50 years old is Gary Dunkley, but he can mix it with the much younger drivers. Round the Sabat sweep he comes. It's still Jabeur and Wolford, and here comes Coetzee. He is revving that Skyline way above its rev limiter. You're in with him again as you come up on Larry Wolford. He's in that Sabat Skyline, similar sort of motor car. He's looking for a way past. They straighten the line as they go in there. He's going the inside, maybe gives him a nudge. Gary Dunkley goes spinning on the outside, and from fifth he's down to third. Ahead of him, it's red flags all the way. It's the two BMWs giving a big power display. Dion Jabeur in front. Tony Viona from the Free State in second position. Onto the brakes. Coetzee still quite a distance behind them, something like 6 or 7 seconds, and there he's just coming into sight as you saw them in the distance. Round Bosel Corner. The BMWs are just playing it the way they like to do it, a 1-2 in the front, and the crowd is egging Johan Coetzee on, and that is all he needs, and there he is trying, using all the road. So is Larry Wolford. He's never driven like this as Larry Wolford, giving a great display. In with Coetzee again, and he's coming over. That's Tony Viona slowing down. That suspension problem is now overtaken him. There's nothing he can do about it. The car is not handling, and he's going to be out of this race. It's Jabeur in the front. And there comes Coetzee now in a hurry, and there's just a few laps of this race to go. Larry Wolford is next. Gary Dunkley is next as Tony Viona retires the BMW to the pits. It's a pity that he gets out of a dogfight like that one. And because of all the bumping, the clerk of the course, Glenn Rowden, has told his officials to pull Jabeur off the circuit, give him a black flag, show him the number. Jabeur just doesn't see the flag as he tears past at more than 180 kilometers an hour. He ignores it. But back up front, it's Chris Aberdeen. He's starting to open up the gap from Cyril van der Merwe. Terry Moss is hanging in there for all he's worth, really trying very hard. And Chris Aberdeen is coming through to a very popular victory. Not only the Sponsors' Day, but he's winning it as well. And back with Terry Moss, he comes across the line and just freewheels there past Cyril van der Merwe. Well, certainly a very, very tough Wesbank modified saloon car racing. You can see why they bring these crowds, these huge crowds to circuits all over the country. And as these drivers wind down their turbos, they've got to let them cool before they park in the pits. You can almost feel the acceleration that comes out of Continental Corner, even at those speeds. But Chris Aberdeen in the Bosel Audi, a very popular winner ahead of Cyril van der Merwe, the Sassel Ford Sapphire. Terry Moss was next, Willie Hepburn the Sabat Opel, and Ben Morgenrud in the Mazda 323. And Class B, Johan Coetzee took it, as Dion Jabeur had been disqualified from the first race at that stage. And so we came to classes C and D. This is for cars up to 2.3 litre, and the D is for 1400cc cars. And the entry was split due to the large size of these fields on this 2-kilometre circuit. And from pole position, the man expected to win it, Dave Repsol, normally driving his Pink Panther Corolla, has now been changed to a silver motor car, tore away in possibly one of the fastest Toyota Corollas of its size in the world, no doubt about it. And as he lifted the wheels coming through the Citizen Sweep and up the Champion Hill, it was George Bezuidenhout in the little Nissan Sentra, very pretty little motor car, giving chase. Johan van Rensburg was in third position at that stage. But George Bezuidenhout was not having a happy time. He was the champion in this class last year, the Class D, in fact, in that motor car, and he'd broken a rocker over revving at the early stages of this race, and he was limping around just to get the points as the others come up on him. And the D-class cars, there's Van Rensburg, also having trouble on the outside of their sweep. And Simon Trobler, flight engineer from the South African Airways, is starting to make his mark in there too as he passes Bezuidenhout into second position. A very nicely turned out motor car, always gives a very confident performance. But nobody was catching this man. He spent a lot of money in preparing this car. It's beautifully turned out. It's very well driven indeed. And he came home to win the class ahead of Simon Trobler in the Golf. And Neville Tillman having a good outing in his Golf. The D class, the 1400 class, won once again by Ray Wilford, the class champion. And with a reputation of always having a spot of rain at the Zwartkops Raceway, the thunderstorms right on schedule started to threaten. As these cars lined up for their second 15-lap race, missing from the lineup was Dave Repsol. He was battling with a flat tyre in the pits and hopefully was going to rejoin the race a little bit later. So Simon Trobler was on pole position. Alongside him was Neville Tillman, and a host of those 1400 cars mixed in between all their bigger brothers. And Simon Trobler went into the lead from the start, followed by Tillman. Don Brains in that pretty Cornwrights GSI was right in there with him. And the 1400cc pocket rockets, as they call them, and faster incidentally than most standard production cars on the road, were right in there. And this is the sort of racing they provide all around the country. Up front, Simon Trobler lifting that inside back wheel as the Golfs all seem to do, being followed by Van Rensburg. Neville Tillman being worried there by Mike Langford as they tear in through the Bosel corner and go down the hill into the Sabre sweep. Certainly one of the features of this kind of racing is the close competition that they all enjoy. They come out absolutely pumping adrenaline when they finish these races. And back into the race after fixing that punctured wheel comes Dave Repsol. He's right over the rev limiter, probably the fastest Toyota Corolla in the world of its kind, that's for sure, as he's got a major job ahead of him. Jan van Rensburg hanging on to Trobler there as they come tearing through. And interesting to see as they come along that Michelin straight, those little 1400cc cars are keeping up with their bigger brothers. And here's problems. Repsol's out, he's burst his gearbox, he's dropped the oil on the road, and here's his first victim. Sean Blow's gone into the outfield as they approach Conti Corner. It's a very dangerous position to be in, and that's going to cause a lot of problems when the pack does arrive. And they go arriving at great speed. Here's Van Rensburg. He sees the yellow flag, starts to put on the anchors, throws out all the anchors, has a bit of an anxious moment. He just makes it through there. And Trobler's another one of the victims. He spins it out, coming in there behind Tillman. That's put his chances back quite considerably there. He's got to wait for some of the traffic to come through as they come tearing into the corner. By now they've seen the flags, but Langford not able to correct. There's Sorensen coming in as well. Ray Wilford gets through there. There's Stephen Colotti making his way across the grass. And Mike Summers, another major victim. They stalls his motor car. Very dangerous position to be left like this with the field fast approaching you on a slippery corner. But up front there, Johan van Rensburg taking his chances in that Helen Autobody Nissan Stanza. Very competent driver, gives a polished display wherever he performs. And with Dave Repsol gone, he's not going to have much competition, as you can see, as he makes his way along towards the line. But behind him, the battle is still on. Another casualty in this race, the Mason Motors Nissan of Steve Colity, a very fine driver from Velcom, goes into the pits and retires his model. But out there's still the heat, and there's another victim. Don Brains is retiring his Opel. That's a very nicely turned out car and very quick indeed, and gives a good performance. And the others tear past, and there's the leader. They're not going to displace him in this. He's not going to lose this at all as he goes on his way and reels off those 15 laps. Up through Bosel Corner, that's a tricky one. It's got very small runoff area. There's Richard Sorensen just behind, and Mike Langford, who has been going to all the national races and coming home in second and third positions in that motor car. So Johan van Rensburg taking his chances there, came home to win that heat and to make up for his disappointment of retiring from the first race. But the overall positions for the day, Simon Trobler winning it ahead of Neville Tillman, both in the Golfs, and then a great performance. The D-Class of 1400cc car was third overall, that was Ray Wilford, then Mike Langford in the Jimco Pro Custom Golf, and Rex Tweedy came next in his City Golf. And with the heavy metal classes of the Wesbank Modifieds lining up for their second race, we asked Johan Coetzee and Dion Joubert about their bumping and barging in the first heat.
Johan Coetzee, quite a tense moment there.
I would think so, yeah. I nearly lost it there. I got bumped off by Dion Joubert, which I think is very dangerous driving of him. He's a very aggressive driver. I think we all are, but to bump another guy in a corner, I think is very dangerous.
Now, he seemed to catch you coming out of Conti. It was almost as if you missed a gear there.
I did miss a gear. It's just one of those things that happen. And he caught up with me and he actually passed me going down the straight. And when we went up to past the sweep going into the next corner, I got next to him again. And before the next corner, as we went into the corner, he bumped me and I just went off.
Well, Johan came up next to me at the top corner when I made a little mistake. And then we went into this right-hander coming onto the pit straight. He was on the outside. Unfortunately, the corner tightens up a little bit. And there's no way the chap on the inside can actually stay on the inside. So Johan being on the outside and on the loose, he had to go wide and go off the road.
So you don't feel you particularly hit him that hard?
I would never try to overtake somebody on the outside of that corner myself. It's pretty silly. So, you know.
And you feel the black flag was a little bit harsh?
Yes, I feel you've got to have a chance to defend yourself afterwards. Surely you must first finish the race and then we can protest or counter-protest or whatever. To stop somebody while he's in the lead, is a bit harsh. Yeah.
And he too, you're just going to go for it?
Yes, well, we'll just see where we're allowed to start now and then we'll just go for it, yeah.
And in fact, after hearing both sides of the story, the officials reinstated Dion Jabeur and his BMW into the results of the first race. As we got underway for the second race of the Wesbank Modifieds, to make it even more difficult, the marshals were showing the oil flags on the streaming track with the Audis 1 and 2 as they went into Continental Corner for the first time. And of course, with four-wheel drive, they were expected to be shown off to advantage, and that's exactly as it turned out to be as they pulled away from Continental Corner. Cyril van der Merwe back in the pack, fighting to get all that horsepower down onto the road. Chris Aberdeen, hoping to make it a double for the day, is out front there. His teammate Terry Moss not too far behind him, with the windscreen wipers really going. Willie Hepburn, no windscreen wipers. Morgan Rood in the new Mazda Motorsport colours, a bit unfamiliar to most Wesbank Modified fans, was in 4th position. Cyril van der Merwe still having to make a showing. Larry Orford having a good day there, as you see him in that Sayback Skyline. And the conditions were even getting worse. It's just clouds of spray behind Chris Aberdeen as he comes tearing through this right hand into Conti. Just listen to the popping and squeaking of those turbos as they slow down on the trailing throttle. And he fights to get that power on the road quickly as he comes out. There's not even a sideways movement from that motor car as he tears off down that long Altamore straight. Unabated speed there as he's going down at well over 200 kilometers an hour and getting away from Terry Moss. And they really are making it quite a cakewalk. The Audis are so at home in these wet conditions. Terry Moss has lost his wiper blade now. It's not functioning anymore. And behind there was a very good race, in fact, going on there with the rest of the pack who are struggling with those two-wheel drive cars. Morgan Rood trying to get on around the outside of the unsighted Willie Hepburn. He hadn't got a wiper working, remember, and Cyril van der Merwe trying to make his way through. That Sasol Ford very quick in the wet or in the dry and being very well driven by our multi-Springbok champion. But nobody was going to catch this Springbok. Chris Aberdeen now in the lead by more than 5 seconds and losing it there. Just a lapse in concentration. He went a little bit of lawn mowing there, gets it back on the road, and this very capable motor car accelerates away at unabated speed. Not too far behind him, he's got Terry Moss. And how's this for driving totally blind? With the cold rain of the thunderstorm and the hot air inside that racing saloon car, it combined to provide this mist on the front of the screen. And Terry Moss, in fact, had to undo his seatbelt to sit on the front of the seat and wipe down the windscreen in front of him. And you certainly can't go racing in conditions like this. Totally blind, driving one of the most powerful racing cars in the country is no fun on a Saturday afternoon. And in fact, the clerk of the course, Glenn Rowden, got his officials to red flag the field, and the race was going to be restarted in almost total darkness a little later in the afternoon. But the final results saw Chris Aberdeen with 2 wins, winning it in the Bosel Audi ahead of the sister car, the Minolta Audi of Terry Moss. Cyril van der Merwe was a very strong third in the Sasol Ford Sapphire. Ben Morgan Rood in the triple rotor Mazda was in 4th position, with Willie Hepburn in that big thundering Sayback V8 Opel in 5th position, really battling to get the power down on the road.